House, home of American presidents, symbolizes the nation's development and growth. For like the nation, it has undergone many changes. When John Adams, first presidential occupant, moved in 1800, the building had not yet been completed. British troops burned down the White House while President Madison was living there in 1814 during the War of 1812. By 1817, it had been rebuilt to receive President James Monroe, and for the first time it was painted white. The White House had grown considerably by 1845 when President Polk moved in. The distinctive north and south porticos had been added. Washington was growing up around the White House when James Garfield came in 1881, and the executive mansion was the center of a busy city. Now let's put away our book and look at the modern White House. 4 years ago, a survey revealed that the building was in such disrepair as to be dangerous for occupants. Congress appropriated nearly $7 million for an extensive reconstruction program. No fundamental changes were to be made, and each piece of woodwork or stone was numbered, so that when it was returned to the reinforced, rebuilt interior, it would be sure to go back to the place from which it was taken. This cornerstone marks another rebuilding under Theodore Roosevelt in 1902. The building was first begun in 1792. Originally, this presidential seal was on the entrance floor. Here is the rebuilt White House today. As every American citizen may, let's go in and look around. John Mays, 80 years old, who has been on the White House staff 43 years, ushers us into the main hall. This great corridor looks much as it did when the White House was the only government building in the little federal city of Washington. The presidential seal on which so many famous feet walked is now moved to a place above the entrance to the Blue Room. The elaborate interior of this famous room, in which foreign diplomats present their credentials, was removed so the walls could be strengthened, then put back in place again. Illumination is provided by crystal chandeliers. The Blue Room is also used by the President to receive guests to state dinners. The Great East Room, another of the rooms open to the public, was intended originally as a ballroom, though rarely used for that purpose in modern times. The concert grand piano is of mahogany, decorated with bas-reliefs in gold, which depict a number of typical scenes of American life. Stuart's portrait of George Washington hangs in the East Room. Its history is romantic. Dolly Madison saved the picture from the burning White House in 1814. Near it hangs Martha Washington's portrait. The Green Room, with walls and curtains of green silk damask, is used by the President for smaller, informal receptions. The mantelpiece was imported from England in 1815. In the center of the great Aubusson rug has been woven the presidential seal. The Red Room, with red silk damask walls and curtains, is used by the First Lady for receiving guests by appointment and contains this Woodrow Wilson portrait. The State Dining Room is for all large dinners and luncheons. From ceiling to floor, the walls are carved and paneled. The 16th President, Abraham Lincoln, looks down pensively over the big table of dark, gleaming mahogany. This stairway from ground floor to the second is part of the new construction and leads us to the President's study. The White House, remember, is the President's office as well as his residence. The top floor solarium of blue-green glass is an innovation installed during the latest rebuilding of the White House. We are downstairs again in the hall leading out into the gardens. The White House was originally called the President's Palace, but its official name is now simply the White House. That simplicity, despite the building's magnificence, is in key, for the White House is no one man's property. It belongs to the American people.